Get ready as Excite Wrestling presents Fight Club at the American Legion Post 80 on 76 Main Street in Binghamton, New York. Featuring unprofessional Jimmy Jacobs versus Joe Gacy. Also, Joey Ryan versus Dick Justice. And for the Excite Championship, Sean Carr will be facing Austin Aries. Get your tickets today at excitewrestling.com/shop or catch it live on twitch.tv/excitewrestling.
Today's episode is brought to you by Gamefly, and for listeners of the show, Gamefly is offering an exclusive 30-day free trial that's one game out, and all you have to do to take advantage of this awesome offer is go to gameflyoffer.com/gimmick. Again, that's gameflyoffer.com/gimmick. And let's get to the show.
This podcast is scheduled for one fall.
Whoa, who let you out of the basement? Let me do this. This podcast is scheduled for one fall, and I'm still not reading any of this other crap you wrote, so just click your buttons and start the show.
Welcome all to another installment of the Gimmick Table. Thank you for listening. I'm your host, Matt. And people, how could we ever forget the pinky to my brain? He is Bats. Are you pondering what I'm pondering, Bats?
Oh, gee, boss, what are we going to do tonight?
Same thing we do every night, Pinky. Well, every Monday when we host an interview with another wrestler. We're not trying to take over the world or anything here. We haven't gotten to the global domination part of the show yet.
Well, you haven't.
Oh, you're already on that path?
I already got some back channels going.
All right. Don't know anything about that. Have nothing to do with that. So, NSA, FBI, you can take care of my co-host. If you need any information on him, we're good. All right, and shortly, guys, we are going to be joined by Irvin Legend. He's our guest today. He's going to take us through his time in professional wrestling, some of the ups, some of the downs, the things he's had to face. But before we get to that, remember, everybody, you can get all our content for this show at gimmicktablepod.com. You can see all of my lovely co-hosts, awesome cover art, done some really good work there, so you don't want to miss that. I love your work, dude. I'm going to give you a little free plug on the air here.
Appreciate that.
You're welcome. You do a lot of good work.
Thanks.
Cade, you do a lot more work, a lot better. Thanks. All right, it's a happy day here on the Gimmick Table, and we're still giving away, guys, an 8x10 autograph photograph of Cody Rhodes. It's our December contest. It's going strong, so make sure you get in there. We got your second keyword of the month for another entry for your chance to win. And all you got to do is after the show, go to the gimmicktablepod.com and fill out the entry form. Go back to last week's episode, listen to that if you have not. If you're a new listener, get that entry code as well. And go to our site and find out all the extra ways you can get additional entries. And more than giving away free stuff, we got some good wrestling coming up. First, in December, on the 17th, we got Iconic Heroes of Wrestling Excellence presenting Jeremy's birthday bash. You can spend his birthday with him. He's the Making Towns guy, a great guy. And you also get to enjoy some awesome wrestling. It's going to be at the El Grand Saloon Event Center on 8105 Camp Bowie West in Benbrook, Texas. The doors are going to open at 5 p.m. Bell time's at 6 p.m. And tickets for the front row going for $25. The ringside tickets for $20, and general admission only $15, and you can get your tickets at squareup.com/store/IHWE. And as always, big fans of the Making Towns Classic, and we want to tell you they still got their front row packages going on. $45 deal going through January 2nd of 2018. But don't delay, guys, because they are limited, and you're going to want to make sure you get them before they're gone. You're going to get admission to both shows with this deal, taking place on May 12th, 2017. The first show is going to be at 3 p.m., with the second show at 7:30 p.m., all taking place at the Nashville Fairgrounds. And all you got to do to get this front package deal is purchase your tickets right through PayPal at mikehales57@gmail.com. If you have any questions or concerns, need more information, make sure you get a hold of them. You can find them on Facebook at the Making Towns Classic or on Twitter at the MT Classic. 12 more participants to be announced for this tournament of 16 of the best women in professional wrestling, so do not miss this. All right, guys. It's time to get to our guest today, so please join us. Welcoming to the Gimmick Table from Virginia Beach, Virginia, he is Irvin Legend. How goes it today, Irvin?
What's going on, man? How about you?
Doing pretty good. Had a good day. So glad we could have you on the show. Thank you for joining us today and taking time out of your busy day.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for having me on.
Anytime. And you are friends with our friend Benjamin Banks, and he did actually tell me I had to ask you a couple questions before I started anything. I wasn't allowed to do anything, or I was going to end up like that rope from this past weekend at the Lutz Cup.
Let's hear it. What has he got for me?
All right. Well, number one is, what is the Golden Pinky Society?
Golden Pinky Society, it's a movement. Well, it originally was me, Banks, and Griff, three of us. Diamond Victor Griff, he was the other member. And I quietly kind of disassociated myself because I've never really been a person that plays, like, I've never been a wrestler that does good in groups. I've always been, independent. So I guess the Golden Pinky Society is people or a person that goes by their own rules. So when you throw the pinky up, you're telling people, hey, I'm doing it by my rules and nobody else's rules but mine. So that's what when Banks throws that pinky up, that's what he's indicating.
That he pretty much doing it on your own. Nobody can stand it. Nobody's going to stand in your way, and you're not really going to stand with anybody either.
Right.
Now, he also says there was a time when you were his butler.
Yeah. That was when I was first starting out. That was when we were on SPW. It was a storyline where I lost a match, and I had to be his guy that carried his bags and did a whole bunch of, stuff that I don't really like doing. I've never been one to carry people's bags or, listen to people. So it was kind of a humbling experience, but it wasn't something I wanted to do.
Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate Benjamin Banks as an employer?
As an employer?
Well, you were his butler, so technically he would have been your employer at that time.
Oh, I hated it, man.
He didn't treat you very well?
No.
What are some of the things he would make you do?
Man, he would just, verbally rib me all the time. Like, one time, we went to a show early, and I had to carry his bag in before the SPW show. This was just an SPW. This didn't go outside of that company. But he would just put me down, like, we'd be in matches, and I wasn't physically in the match. I'd come out and try and help him, and something would happen, and I'd get blamed for it, and he'd be yelling at me, degrading me, all that. So it kind of sucked.
So, you probably would have had a complaint there with the labor board.
Yeah, I mean, eventually, man, I was like, man, he's dragging this whole thing out too much, and I just kind of did my own thing.
So how did you actually get from underneath his thumb as his butler?
I just told him I'm not taking this crap no more, and I kind of just went about my business. He wasn't happy about it, but I didn't really care.
You didn't give him a choice?
No, I don't care.
All right.
I mean, that's very Golden Pinky Society mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you took something away from that,
Yeah.
Now let's take it back to when it all began. When did you first find pro wrestling?
2000, I'd like to say 2013 is when I first started taking classes in Southside Pro Wrestling. So, it's been a while. I went from Southside Pro Wrestling, I went to HCW in Norfolk, about an hour down the street from there, and I didn't like the way it was getting run down there, and I just went back to SPW. I graduated from there, and then I did 6 months at PWA.
So what was the reason or your motivation to actually get into training?
Well, I always used to be in wrestling, and my mom, who adopted me when I was younger, she used to watch it, and at the time it was WF, and it had The Rock and Stone Cold and Jericho and all them, and for some reason she had this obsession with The Rock. I never understood it, but I told her that one day, I'd be on there and I'd be wrestling, and so, when I was 14, she passed away, and then when that happened, that's when I decided, all right, well, I'm going to find a local school and give it a shot.
I'm sorry to hear about your loss, man. I know how much that sucks. So was it immediately when you turned 14, when that happened, you started training, or did you wait till you were older? 2013 is when you started your training?
I was about freshman year when that happened. I didn't get to go to SPW or, call up until I was a junior. So I had to wait because I was super small too. But I was training in SPW before I graduated from high school.
So you already, even before, most people we talk to, a lot of them kind of get into it when they're a little bit older, in their late 20s. But it seems like you already had that path set. You were on track and knew exactly what you wanted to be. Yeah,
when I was 18, I was in SPW. I was just starting at 18.
Now, going back to when you used to watch with your mom, who were some of the guys that you connected to back then?
Rock, Triple H, Eddie Guerrero. Okay, Benoit was one of them. Malenko. I didn't really like Kane or Undertaker too much.
So more
but, definitely Guerrero and Rock.
So
Stone Cold.
Well, outside of the Rock, maybe Stone, but it seems like with Benoit, Guerrero, a lot of the littler guys, the cruiserweights.
Yeah, that's who I was really a fan of, Guerrero, and because they gave me hope as a smaller guy that I could be successful. Because, back then it was Land of the Giants, and
Right.
Benoit and Guerrero and Malenko weren't exactly a giant, but they were still successful. So that kind of motivated me to be like, all right, well, maybe I can do this.
And why do you think, just from a personal level, that you were able to connect so much with professional wrestling?
This might sound corny, but I guess I was always meant to do this in some way, shape, or form. Like, some people, say, hey, I'll give wrestling a shot, even though I'm not sure if this is for me. And then there are people like me that I know for a fact I was meant to do this. Because when I was like 16, 17, man, I was making bad decisions. I was hanging out with the wrong people, doing bad stuff, and wrestling kind of, straightened me out. So that's another reason why I got connected to it, because that's all I used to think about.
And so it gave you something to do beyond what you were, a situation that you were in. It was something positive, especially losing your mom at that age and probably a time that was very hard for you, and gave you something positive to hold on to and, start to build discipline. Because, you told us before, you are a fitness buff. To have that kind of discipline, wrestling probably helped a lot with that as well.
Yeah, I didn't get serious in the bodybuilding until a year or two ago. Because when they're my size, you can never look big enough. It's kind of like a mentality, like you look in the mirror and you're not satisfied, so you just keep going. Like yesterday, I was legitimately in the gym for about 4 hours.
Right.
So
you can never.
Today, I'm like walking around like a slug because my legs are so sore.
Right, like you can never get taller, but you can definitely get bigger.
Yeah, it's an obsession. That's kind of what it is in wrestling, too. I always want to learn. I always want to perfect my craft. Like, after I did that Tyson Kids seminar, which, Tyson's one of my good friends, but after I did this camp, he basically told me you can never look, with us being small, you can never look big enough. So I kind of took that to heart.
And it helps you because we have seen through the years that those little guys have shown that they can hold their own with the big guys. Hands down, no problem.
Yeah, prime example, I'll name a couple off the bat. Dynamite Kid is one. Shawn Michaels, Guerrero, Benoit, Daniel Bryan, to name a few. They were all successful. They were all smaller guys.
Exactly, and when they were in those matches with those bigger guys, it was believable that they could, win.
Yeah, they would fight from underneath, and it was believable. I'm not knocking the big guys, but would you rather pay to see an underdog face a giant, or would you rather pay to see two behemoths fighting each other?
Well, Godzilla versus King Kong is always fun, though.
Yeah, it's fun, but there's only so much that can be done, or so much a story that can be told. You can tell so many different stories with a little guy and a big guy.
Exactly. Like I said, Godzilla 1, 2, 3, and 4, they're all the same movie. There's only so much you can do. There's limitations to a lot of them. I'm getting yelled at.
Godzilla 1, 2, 3, and 4? What movies are those?
There was a lot of Godzilla. I'm sorry. There was a lot of Godzilla movies throughout the years, so I'm sure there's a 1, 2, 3, and 4 sequence out there somewhere.
If you say so.
But my point is that there's only so much you can do, whereas there's a lot more you can do, like you said, with the littler guys.
If I had a choice, I would be over 6 feet, but I'm not. I'm only 5'9", so I try and be as good as I am for my size, and hopefully, get looked at as that I can be used or something.
Right.
So I've accepted the fact I'll never be, 6'4" and 230 pounds. It is what it is. You just got to work with what you got.
Now, obviously, you do a lot of bodybuilding, but, wrestling is more than just, looking buff. You got to still be athletic and everything. So, what do you do other than, just lifting?
I do a lot of boxing training for agility, because they do the speed bag, the heavy bag. They do rope work. I do that for my feet, my reflexes. I do CrossFit sometimes, so I can say agile. I'll do a lot of running, a lot of jogging, and then I'll just eat clean all year, or try to.
You spend a lot of time at the gym.
Yeah, remember almost every day for 2 to 3 hours mostly.
Dedication.
Yeah, a lot of work.
A lot of work to look this good.
Yeah, and that involves eating too, and that kind of costs money as well. I'm always eating.
That's true.
I'm eating twice as more as you're supposed to, or at least what I was told.
No,
but
I have a question for my co-host, because what do you know about the discipline of going to the gym for 2 to 3 hours or eating clean?
Nobody can see me right now.
Well, personally, I have to eat 8 times a day. So I don't eat fast food. I don't eat anything with sugar or corn syrup. And then I mostly eat chicken, fish, steak, rice, vegetables. It gets really boring, but it's all in Tupperware, so all I got to do is pop it in the microwave and eat it. So sometimes I'll bring my meals with me to the gym so I can eat it right after the workout. And then, that involves water intake. I'll drink close to Right now I'm at 2 gallons of water a day, which is tough because, it's just a lot of water to drink in one day.
Yeah, but you're also, I mean, you're in the gym for 2 to 3 hours. You're also dehydrating the hell out of your body, and you gotta replenish that.
Yeah.
Now, you're a fan of The Rock. Have you ever seen any of the stuff like he posts on like Instagram or Twitter, like on his cheat days and everything, where he eats like a dozen Domino's pizzas?
Yeah, the dude's insane, man. He'll down like a dozen pancakes. He'll eat all this cheesy pizza. It's like, man, he still looks like $1 million, but he can eat all that. That's not fair.
Well, that's
like if I try to do that, man, I'd get a protruding gut within a day, and then it'd take me a week to get rid of it. It's like genetics, man. It's that Samoan genetics or something. I tweeted to him a couple of times. I got a retweet on one of the things, but that was about it. I never talked to him directly, though.
All right, so you turn 18, you start your training, you have that first day of training. Now, when it's all said and done, what are you thinking after that first day?
I'm thinking, why the hell did I walk through those doors? Like, I should have just stayed home. Even though I really wanted to do it, man, it hurt. I couldn't run the ropes, couldn't do nothing right. I was like 150 pounds. Everybody there was way more advanced than me, so they didn't laugh at me. They just looked at me like I was like, this kid, what is he doing here? He looks like he should be working at, like, McDonald's or something like that. But, I stuck around, and I kind of earned everybody's respect, and then over time I just got bigger. I got a job. I got to, pay my tuition, buy my gear, and then eventually I turned into Irvin Legend. I already had that name coming in training. A lot of people don't know who the hell they are when they're first breaking in business, and that's a problem because it's hard to, show personality, and if you don't have a gimmick, it's kind of hard to put moves together. But luckily for me, I already had my gimmick and my name because I used to do rapping, and my rapping name was Irvin Legend, but I kind of got in trouble because I didn't know there was a singer called John Legend, so I kind of stopped rapping a little bit, but I already had that name going into wrestling, so that kind of helped me out a lot. Then it was just a matter of me getting my moves down pat.
Right. Now, do you ever bring the rap into the ring, or?
Nah, because that's so overdone now, it wouldn't make me any more different than the other 15 people that are doing it.
I just wanted you to, bust a battle rap.
He wants you to spit some bars right now.
At my co-host, I mean.
Man, it's been so long. It's been like, shit, the last time I rapped, I was like 18, 17. It's been a long time.
So when you're starting your training, going through, obviously when you got the job, were able to pay your tuition, early on in that infancy of your career, who were some of the most important people to you?
Right off the bat would be Mark Anthony or Mark Myers. He's the guy who believed in me and gave me a place to train, and he owned Southside Pro Wrestling, which at the time was, in my opinion, the most successful company running in Virginia Beach. The only company I know of that had a show on the Naval Base and at the Scope. And then second guy would be Curtis Mack. He's the guy who, one of the first guys I seen walk through the door and traded numbers, and he acted as a mentor for me when I was first starting out. So it would be Curtis Mack, Mark Anthony, and Marty Reed would be the top 3 people that helped break me in and teach me the ropes. So without them, I wouldn't be where I was at all. I'd still be at home watching wrestling.
Kind of take us what the 3 of those guys brought to your career.
Mark, Mark already knew I had heart, but he brought reassurance, like I can do it. Like when I would doubt myself, he would say, "You can do this because you made the decision to come to my school." And Mark's always been a positive person, on my career. And it was cool. I haven't seen him in almost a year and a half. I saw him at the VCW show, which was really cool. He didn't recognize me because I looked like completely different than when I first started. And Marty was really intense. He was trained in the UK, so you can see how they train down there, and they're very stiff and very, disciplined. So he brought discipline mentally, and he toughened me out mentally and physically. So I owe him, my mentality is because of him. Like when I would get something wrong, he would keep nailing it in my head until I got it right. And Curtis Mack, he taught me about gimmicks and showing character and to not be afraid to step outside my comfort zone, whether it be performing a move or doing something for my gimmick. So all 3 of them, I could take something away from all 3 of them, which helped me out a lot.
And it's still there for you today, and you're able to use that as you grow and continue to develop. And like you said, you're almost obsessed with your craft, so you have something to draw from, build on, and grow and become your own person based on what you've learned from 3 people.
Yeah, and another thing I forgot to mention was a lot of these people do gimmicks that are forced, but with me it's like, it's natural because the Irvin Legend that's in the ring is the Irvin Legend in real life. Irvin Legend I've been through so much personal stuff that ties into my gimmicks that I don't even have to force anything. I'm me, and it connects with people. So I just looked out on all of that.
So it was already there. It was almost essentially a part of who you were, and really all you had to do was learn the wrestling of it.
Yeah.
So how long does it take you to go from training to your debut?
Well, that school you graduated in about a year, 6 months. I kind of did a year and a half because, you know, when I was born, I had a learning disability, so it took me longer to comprehend everything. So it took me about a couple months longer than everybody else, but I stuck around and I got through it, which I'm happy I did. I almost quit a couple times because I never thought I'd make it, but I stayed up there. Like my gimmick, I grew up, I'm not going to say, I never grew up really in a rough neighborhood, nothing, but I was bullied and picked on and dealt with more than a lot, you know, other people had to deal with. So I kind of used that anger to in my gimmick. I'm not sure how deep you guys want me to get into that, but I'm willing to tell you guys pretty much everything if you want.
It's all up to you, man. It's, again, like I said earlier, it's your platform, man. Whatever you want to share with our audience, you know, it's good with us.
So, you know, I'm pretty much working on my own book. I'd like to release it at the end of the year and it tells everything, but I've said my story on another podcast, but my birth mother was a cocaine addict, which anytime you're born addicted to drugs or any drugs of that nature, it's going to mess you up, whether it be mentally or physically. So I had that to deal with from the get-go. You know, I was a premature baby. I was really sick. And then, you know, by the time I was maybe 8, Dr. Sal would never play sports. He thought that I would be like in a wheelchair forever because of how badly I was, you know, born to this stuff. You know, cocaine is a serious drug. So that kind of affected my appearance to people, and I was an easy target for bullying. So from elementary school to freshman in high school, you know, I was bullied to the point where I had PTSD and ran away from school, got suspended, expelled, you name it, I did it. It was bad. And then there was a gang that lived across on my street. There was a Hells Angels gang. And, you know, I never talked to them a day of my life, never messed with them, never looked at them because I knew who they were. I wasn't scared of them, but I just wasn't trying to, you know, start anything. But they kind of took the liberties with me, and they kind of messed me up a little bit and stabbed me. And I was in the hospital for about 3 or 4 weeks after that. So all of that, plus the gang violence I had to deal with, all that again ties into my gimmick. That if I can overcome all of that and still be, you know, doing what I love to do, what makes people think that I can't overcome, you know, 1 or 2 people?
Exactly. I mean, you know, you lived a life that I believe my co-host, or probably a lot of people listening to this show can't even begin to comprehend what it's like or what you had to go through. And the fact that you use that in a positive manner now to develop your career, because there's a lot of ways you could have gone. There's a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You know, and you chose to, instead of being somebody who isn't going to live their dreams, is going to say, hey, what's wrong with me? I can never beat it. Like you said, the doctor said you could never play sports. You said no. And you went out and you did it. And now you're living your dream. And anybody listening to this should be inspired by that.
Yeah, he straight up told me, you know, my adopted mom's name is Mariette Bertucci. So, you know, my real name is Irvin Bertucci. It's Italian, but they told my mom that I'd probably be in a vegetative state for the rest of my life. So, you know, I was wheelchair bound for a little bit, and then I went to PT classes and slowly regained the use of my arms and legs, and then I started walking. And, you know, by the time I was 8, you know, I tried to play football or basketball like normal kids, but I couldn't do it because my motor skills were messed up. And eventually I got strong enough to where I could, you know, dribble basketball or throw a football. And I slowly began playing sports. And then when the stabbing happened, that scar that's on my stomach, I'm not sure if you guys have seen it, but if you look closely, it's a knife wound. And they basically took a knife and cut my stomach open to where my entrails were like hanging out. So I was alive for that, but I passed out like midway to going to the hospital, because when your insides are hanging out, you're not going to be, you know, walking around. They're going to be, it was really painful. I don't remember much of it. I just remember being on the ground with blood all around me, and then I remember waking up in the hospital. So I was in the hospital for about 2-3 weeks after that, and then I got to go home.
That's intense, man.
Yeah, I don't think like I said earlier, to comprehend what you've gone through is hard, obviously. But I'm thankful that you are, you know, obviously so we can have this interview today, but I'm thankful that you chose to go the way that you did, and that everything, for the most, looks like it has worked out for you.
Yeah, I felt like I had no choice but to turn my suffering and my, you know, hardships into something positive, because I feel like at the end of the day, a lot of people go through some stuff, and at the end of the day, it pays off if you just keep a positive mindset. Because my mentality now that I'm 24 and I've matured a lot is, if I can beat all those demons and beat all that and then still live my dream, like, why can't you? Like, some people say, oh, I can't do this because I don't have a car. Which I don't have a car either, but I'm still taking bookings that, you know, I'm Ubering and what I need to do. But some people are like, I can't get a job because this and this. Well, you know, there's a reason why time was invented, and I feel like if you waste it, you're kind of not living in your full potential. consequential. So I feel like you got to do whatever you got to do to succeed and enjoy life. But that's what my message is. This is not even me and Gimmick anymore. This is me as a human being. One thing I can't stand is when people waste their time, because I know for a fact, every day they can make stuff happen. They can enjoy themselves. It might be hard, but it's going to pay off at the end of the day. So that's basically the message that I'm trying to send to everybody.
Exactly. It's like that saying, the billionaire and the beggar both have 24 hours in the day. It's just what they do with that time.
Exactly. Like, we're all not going to be here. I've never said nothing religious or anything today, but we all have this time slot that we're here and then we're gone, and it's like I don't want to have regret saying, well, I could have done this when I was here. I want to go out saying I did everything I've ever wanted to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I keep trying to tell my friends that too. They want to be like, I want to get this job, I want to do this. I said, go do it. What's stopping you from doing it?
Right. The only thing that's stopping them is themselves, is the excuses that they give themselves.
Yeah.
Because like you said, your first day of training, it was hell. You didn't even know why you went there. It was uncomfortable for you. Your brain doesn't want you to be uncomfortable. Your brain wants you to do the things that make you comfortable, that are nice and easy and relaxing. And like you said, what would have that got you? You'd still be just a fan watching wrestling today.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm not gonna lie, I absolutely sucked. I was the drizzling craps when I first walked in those doors. I couldn't even run the ropes right. My footwork was horrible. I was literally spending hours among hours running those ropes trying to get my footwork right, and that's what helped me was repetitive. Like, I talked to last time. A matter of fact, I talked to CJ about a couple minutes ago before I got on the air with you guys, and he said when he first started out, they were making him repetitive. Repetitive is what helped him, get these movesets, and that's what's helping me. Is the more I do something, the more I pick up, and the more I can do it more, crisp and stuff like that. A lot of people have this gift naturally that they can get in the ring and work. Well, I didn't have that. I was athletic, but I didn't know how to work my way out of a paper bag. I kind of developed that as time went along, and I saw how different people work. So I was like, all right, well, he's doing this, I'll do that. I'll do this differently. I'll pick a little bit from this guy and tweak it a little bit to make it mine. So that's how I had to learn to work.
All right, so let's go. You get through your training, and you get to that first match, and you're about to make your entrance. What are you thinking? What are you feeling at that point?
Well, I'm thinking I better not piss myself. I mean, there wasn't a lot of people in the building, man, but I felt like I was walking in front of thousands of people with those butterflies. And, oh, man, like, everybody, I call this thing called the wrestling vault, which is basically an imaginary vault you have that you can lock your first ever match away and never speak of it. Mine was that bad. It wasn't nothing I did or nothing Curtis Mack did, but it was a fact what I was wearing. I did it completely backwards. I bought boots before I bought actual gear. So, Asafi, who was over 6 feet and 320 pounds, gave me a pair of his wrestling tights. And you can imagine how silly they looked on me. I looked like Sabu with them baggy pants to wear. So I was wearing that, trying to tuck it into my boots, trying to make it fit. I had to borrow a drawstring from someone else's tights to tie under my waist to make that shit fit. So I walked out to the ring looking like someone who just went hitchhiking straight off a boat from France. And I got in the ring, and then Curtis Mack was cutting a promo as a heel. I was trying not to crack up because I know for a fact how stupid I looked in my debut. That's not something I wanted. And thank God I was not called Irvin Legend on my first match. I was just called Irvin because, wow, Legend really looked like that. It looked like I just took like a blanket and cut it up and made tight. But it was maroon colored. And Curtis Mack called me a California raisin. And, man, he was joking me. I knew it was a rib, but I had to laugh. I had to go to the corner. I had to go to the turnbuckle and put my head down and burst out laughing. Like, I tried to hide it as best I could, but he got me.
Yeah.
And, we put a match on, and we got to the back. I was like, you son of a, like, you got me. You ripped me. I had to laugh. It was just funny. I tried to hold my breath, but I just couldn't do it. It's cracking up. So that was pretty much my first match, and, thank God I was able to put that behind me because I was embarrassed. Just the way I was looking, I was like, man, I was 150 pounds. I was wearing tights meant to be on a 320 pounder. It was not my night. I went to High Spots the night after and got some raggedy generic pair of bikers and wore that for the first 4 months of my wrestling career. And then I had enough money to where I can get custom gear.
Now, despite your appearance there in your first match, did you still kind of feel like a superstar, like going out there?
Oh, yeah, I felt like a superstar. I was about to get his ass kicked. Like, I was like, man, this would have been way better if I actually had gear that fit me. But I did get good feedback. I didn't do much. I got my ass kicked. I got some hope spots and got choked out. It was nothing, because I was a squash match, but I still had fun. The fact I was able to step in the ring and walk around and you imagine, damn, this is what my idols were. Like, they were in the wrestling ring. This is how they made a living, and now I'm here. Regardless of how I looked, I made it. and that's the only thing that kept me from like completely saying, well, I look like crap. Like, I wasn't even thinking about what I was looking like. I was thinking about what I'm doing. And by the time I got home, I was on YouTube, and within a day and a half, I had like 200 views. I'm like, oh God. Over 200 people saw me looking like a damn, hitchhiker with the stupid tights.
So you don't want us to tweet that out to everybody?
I mean, you could still look it up. I'm sure it's still on YouTube.
How would you feel if the cover for this episode was you as a California raisin?
I mean, I'd probably think it's funny because of the rib, because that's all people were calling me the first 5 months of my wrestling career, just California raisin, because it was a rib and it stuck. It taught me a lesson, honestly, because, what's the point of wrestling if you can't have a little fun?
Right.
Definitely.
And if anything, it motivated me because, they just saw me as some kid wearing gear that's too big, and that motivated me, like, hey, I can do more than you guys think I can do. I can step my game up. And I ended up stepping my game up, and within a year, I had a television title shot. I actually had two, but I didn't go over in either one of them. But I was actually the first out of my class to receive 2 championship matches in the same year.
Nice.
Good for you, man.
And it's kind of like a built-in gimmick. Even if you look funny, but you put on a good match, like that's a built-in gimmick right there.
Yeah, I set the bar for my other fellow trainees. We used to do Dinwiddie's, and there was one time where the Mark had all these 6 matches, and I was 3 of those 6 matches because some of the workers were late or didn't show up. So he had me working like triples. But I busted my ass the first year out as a worker, man. And then I didn't get to travel until like last year. So I did good. I've done Tennessee, New York, New Jersey, Texas, Massachusetts, North Carolina, Georgia. I've been some places. I want to try and go to Florida, California next year at some point. I got my passport, so I'm gonna try Mexico. I ended up being in a tag team with Hernandez from TNA, but he is he's on the shelf right now, so that's why we haven't been taking bookings as a team.
So do you want to get into some lucha style?
Yeah, I mean, me and him were talking about me going to AAA with them as a tag team. In all honesty, man, we're trying to put the band back together. I mean, I was never an original member of LAX, but I'm trying to do a reincarnation of different ethnicities in there. So it's like me, Hernandez, and then Homicide. Homicide, of course, would be Puerto Rican. Sean would be the Mexican, and I'd be the African American. So it's really a little bit of everything in one group. That's what the goal was, but it didn't work out because Sean got hurt, I got hurt. Homicide was doing TNA tapings, but we're gonna try at some point next year to put all that together again.
Right, that should definitely be interesting to see. So we're going to take a quick break so we can give you this week's keyword for your chance to win an autographed 8x10 of Cody Rhodes. And our good friend here, Irvin Legend, is going to give you that keyword now.
The keyword is DDT.
All right, not a better move out there than the DDT. Jake the Snake Roberts, one of my favorites of all time. So make sure you head on over to gimmicktablepod.com, click on the link for the contest, go to the entry form, put in your name, your email, and the keyword DDT, and you're going to get entered to win an autographed 8x10 of Cody Rhodes. All right, so we kind of touched on this already with you talking about AAA. The fact with you being a high flyer and everything, but there's also a sense of old school in your style. How do you utilize and blend these two styles together?
Well, I like to think of myself, I don't like put myself over, but I like to say that I think, well beyond my years as far as maturity goes. And it's like, I got off concussion in April, and that was after I was doing all this high flying stuff. And again, I'm going to drop his name again. I talked to Tyson, and I told him what happened. He told me that I should consider changing my style of wrestling. And I've always been intrigued with Canadian wrestling, Stampede, so I decided to go old school because I feel like moves are more effective when I got my hands on the guy. As if I'm hoping, I go to the top rope and hoping that I hit somebody or if I miss them. It's like, the reason why I changed my style from high flying to technical was I enjoyed the style better, more smash mouth. I mean, I'll still go to the third rope every now and again and bust out like a shooting star press leg drop, but I don't go out of my way to do it a lot because, that kind of, over time, that bump hurts, man. Because you're flipping and landing on your tailbone, or trying not to, but you're still going to. So, for me, I became a little bit more wiser, and I realized that we all have bump cards and body longevity, and if I'm flying through the air every single match, I'm basically killing my body, before I even get a chance to even be seen by a company if I have an opportunity. But I would say my style for me right now is maybe I consider myself all around because I like to be well-rounded in everything. And that would be strikes, submissions, high flying, chaining, anything. Because I used to have the mentality, oh, I'll just do high flying, and then I'd get in there with someone who's a shooter, and I'd get my ass kicked. I wouldn't know what the hell I was doing. I'd get chopped and punched and stretched out. It's like, well, shit, I guess I don't know anything. So, I changed my style for the better.
And who are throughout your time so far, who are some of the guys that you've drawn inspiration to create this all-around style?
I would have to say, you mean like who made me want to change my style up?
Well, but who are some of the guys that when you look at them, that's like, who kind of I want to draw from for my style?
I think, Neville, as far as acrobatics go, maybe Austin Aries. Bobby Roode is definitely one of them for me. Randy Orton, because of his ring awareness and how technically sound he is. See, I'm naming, Seth Rollins is another person. But if I like to take some old school too. I like to take, Shawn Michaels or Triple H in '99 when he didn't do a lot of stuff, just did the punches and basically beat your ass. Again, Dean Malenko and Guerrero. Definitely Guerrero. Rey Mysterio, Benoit. So I like to mix old school and new school and see what I can come up with. I don't really watch, call me weird, I know I'm on the indies. I don't really watch indie wrestling much. I'm not crapping on anybody's work. I just don't agree with some of the stuff that's out there, and I have to turn the TV off because I don't, I know wrestling's entertainment, but there's some stuff out there that's like completely and utterly ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, and we've talked about it before on the show, in 2017, there's something for everybody out there. And if you don't like it, you do the right thing. You just don't even bother talking about it. Just turn the TV off and ignore it. Yeah,
like, prime example, not knocking him. He's a good worker. He's a cool dude, but the dick flip by Joey Ryan, like, that just kind of killed it for me, man. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
See, I'm a fan. I'm a fan.
Flip somebody with a dick unless you have some sort of magnetic power that I don't know about.
He could. That's the whole thing, man.
He could, man. I am sorry, but I am a fan. I am a fan of the dick flip.
Man, here's the thing, though. Pissing me off is people already give us slack for what we do being a waste of time and not being real, and that kind of just, you got people out there like me that are trying to, tell people, hey, this is real, we do get hurt, and then you see a dick flip and it kind of shits on everything that we do. That's my only problem with it. I don't care, this entertaining, you can get over, that's cool, but you got people out there trying to work to make people believe what we do is real, which it is and it isn't, but you got that is out there happening. It's kind of like, all right, well, I guess what I was saying was true. Let me try flipping someone with my dick and see how I feel after. Like, I ain't gonna lie, man, I popped the first time I did it, but then, after I seen how he does it, it's like, man, come on. But I guess it's different stuff for everybody. Different people like different stuff, I suppose. So I ain't gonna shit on it too bad, but I don't agree with it.
Right, different strokes for different folks.
You stole my line.
I knew it was coming.
I got some heat. I got some heat for this. Like, people ask me, I do Q's and A's every couple of weeks. They ask me, do I believe in intergender matches? And I said yes, because there's nothing in the book that says a woman can't be in a competitive fight with a man. Like, prime example, Ricochet and Tessa Blanchard. I saw that match. That match was hot. I enjoyed it, and it told a story.
Yeah.
Now, whether they're together or not, they still have great chemistry. So I believe in intergender matches. It has to make sense.
I agree 100%. I think you see that proves that they can be just as good, if not better, than their male contemporaries.
Yeah, there are some female workers out there that are better than some of the guys I know, or shit, that are better than me, and that's hard for me to say because, I'm not cocky or nothing, but I know that I'm decent. I'm not good, but I'm okay for my age, but there are some people out there that are better than me. For people to, automatically look at a woman and say, oh, she shouldn't be doing this because a woman pisses me off because, like I said, they've busted their ass to put wrestling on the map. Like the women's division on SmackDown and Raw, they're killing it right now. They're putting on better matches than some of the guys. Again, that's not me knocking the competition, but they're stepping up. They're doing their thing. Like Charlotte and Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch, man, they're killing it.
No, hands down, and it's shown that they can do it, like you said, if not just as good, but better, regardless if it's two women or an intergender match.
Yeah.
So
it's like, in today's society with everything that's going on, it's really a touchy subject. Oh, he hit a woman, but the woman wants to be treated like a wrestler, so that's what we're doing. Just like they're a worker, just like we are. Just because they have, different counterparts does not make them any less valuable than we are. I feel like we're all the same. We all come in different shapes and sizes. We're all here, put on this earth to entertain. And that's what I'm trying to tell people. People have this mindset of, oh, she can't have a 5-star match or she can't get over because she's a woman. And that just, nothing pisses me off more than that.
At the end of the day, they're working just as hard and training just as hard as everybody else.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm not trying to break the fourth wall or third wall, whatever the hell you call it, but they put up with a lot of stuff, man. They put up with a lot of stuff, not just from the media, but from other wrestlers and promoters, because you know how it goes. You know how they act, They put up with a lot of stuff.
Right, and I can only imagine some of the fans that they have to deal with, I mean.
Oh, God. It's crazy. I mean, I'm a dude and I get messages like that. Like, you guys should see the messages I be receiving on my Facebook. It's insane. I've blocked like 50 people this year.
Can you tell us the craziest message that you received?
The worst message of all time is when, I have two. I have two really bad ones. Worst message of all time. Hey, you have a hot body. You should come do porn.
That's
number one.
Well, hey, that would be my favorite.
I'll fly you out to Florida and you can shoot some porn. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
You didn't even look in to see how reputable the company was?
Well, it was actually Burning Angel because my friend is a porn star for that company, but I'm not doing porn. You see how porn affects, wrestlers like China, X-Pac, to name a few. It doesn't work out too well, especially if we're trying to get a look by a big promotion or a big company. It's definitely not a good idea to do porn.
Not exactly something professional to put on your resume.
Yeah, but it's not something I want to get into. Okay, the other message followed up from that is, hey, can you? I'm not even bullshitting on this. This dude said it was a guy. He said, would you mind mailing me a used pair of wrestling trucks so I can sniff? Like, man, you freaking sick freak. Like, go on eBay and buy a pair of used wrestling trunks for like $15 and sniff away. But no, man. First of all my gear is custom. All my gear costs $80 and up. So even if I was thinking about it, I definitely would not ship you my gear. That's weird.
So he didn't even offer you any money?
Well, he threw some, good money, but I ain't taking it. I don't need his money. I don't need to mail my trunks that I haven't washed to you. That's kind of gross, too. I had this girl, AIWF, I had a hotel room, and somehow she found her way to my room before I did. It turns out she actually went to the desk clerk and told her that she was my wife. It was like a scene out of, have y'all seen Obsessed with Beyonce?
No.
No.
No, okay. Well, the girl was in my hotel room before I got a chance to check in.
Oh, wow.
I used the hotel key, turned the lights on, she was on my bed. Like, I was like, how did you even get in here? I was like, she knew that, she was from the show. I'm like, first of all, did you follow me here or something? Because my hotel room was like 30 minutes away, so she must have planned that out or something.
And now she's your wife?
Yeah, she told the desk clerk she's my wife, so they gave her a key and let her in.
No, she's your wife now. He's asking if you guys got married.
Yeah, was this a love story you were telling us?
Yeah, we thought this was going to happen.
I put a restraining order on her, actually. Because then she started showing up at my house, and that's a big no-no. I could do the hotel room, but once she started trying to get my personal information and then showing up at my actual house, I had to put a restraining order on her.
Now what if she just came to talk to you like a normal human being? It would have been fine?
That would have been absolutely fine, but the fact that she had to act like a 100% creep and take the time to, stalk me and see what hotel I was going to and then the room and then lie and then show up at my house, that's kind of a red flag for me. She could have just pulled me aside. She was a good looking too. She could have pulled me aside the show and talked to me, and maybe I would have gave the time of day. Of course, I was a heel, so I was kind of an asshole. But, the extra stuff she didn't need to happen. That's, it kind of creeped me out a lot. So that's the reason. She's the reason now why I always bring some stuff in my bag. Because you never know. You piss someone off the wrong way, and they're gonna be after you.
But in a positive light, I mean, the porn industry wants you. Apparently, guys want your trunks to smell them.
Yeah, I've got a couple offers this year.
And you got women, attractive women, just
lining up at your hotel room,
like,
Yeah.
Clearly the charisma is there. It's all ready to go.
I guess I'm doing something right.
Right? It may not be what you want, but hopefully it'll get you to greener pastures.
I guess I am over after all.
Now, you did say that you mentioned being a heel. How do you get the fans to react to you?
As a heel or a face?
As a heel.
I just tell all those nincompoops that I'm better than each and every one of them sitting in the seat, and they're sitting here and I'm in the ring. They paid their, hard-earned money to come see me. And, well, however much money they actually earn per year, which is probably not much, but they use that to see me. So, they can sit in their seats and boo me and, oh, you suck. But I'm in the ring living my dream, and they're sitting in the seat eating popcorn, clogging their arteries up, just being losers, At least they have the common sense to waste their time watching me. So that's how I get booze. And there was one time, okay, I was in Benton, Virginia, and that's like a really rough area for someone of my color. I don't like throwing color into this, but it was the wrong place for me to be. And of course, promoter said, "Oh, all right, we're gonna put you heel. So you're gonna put me in the heel in the mountains where I'm already hated." That makes sense.
It should be easy.
So I shouldn't have even been there.
Yeah.
But I healed it up 100, which was a really bad idea. And at the end of the day, I had a woman out there waiting to shoot me. Like she,
They send a woman to shoot you in Benton,
she said she had a gun, and she was like, "I got something in the car for you." I was like, "All right, well, you can try, but you won't be able to catch me."
It's
So
a contract for this porn.
Are you sure she wasn't like
Did you
another
not-
hotel fan?
Huh?
You sure she wasn't just another like hotel fan? She's got something in her car for you.
Nah, she had a gun waiting for me. She went out after my match. I went out to get my pay, and she was like at her car fumbling and waiting and looking at me. I was like, "All right, well, we should probably get out of here." PayPal me the money, I'm out. Like,
Dipset.
I've been drinking this moonshine all day.
yeah, I'm like, I called her Toothless Wonder. She didn't like that too much.
Oh, well, I wonder why she wanted to shoot you. But
Dude, I went full-fledged heel like her daughter, which was very attractive, was sitting right next to her. And I was like, I called her Toothless Wonder, so she started getting a little hissy fit. And then her husband tried to act all buff, and I said, "Man, you take one more. You look like you just had 2 strokes. If you take one more step, you're going to have another one." And her daughter was sitting right there, and I was like, "Hey, is your daughter down with the brown?" And right as I said that, they wanted to kill me.
Yeah, that'll probably seal the deal.
Yeah, I was like, "Your daughter one day will be down with the brown." And Daddy's eyes bugged out his head. No, he didn't. I was like, "Yes, I did."
you are my new personal hero because you did that and lived to tell
It
the
was
tale.
risky, man, but it worked. But I haven't been back down there since.
You're the best heel in the company. They don't even want you back. This is the longest slow burn ever.
The promoter was like, "I haven't seen a heel like that in a long time. That's real heel." I said, "Yeah, I almost lost my life, too."
Yeah.
You best believe that might have been some real heel. People want to kill me here.
Irvin Legend fucking sells, ladies and gentlemen.
So, the dude wants me back this month, but I don't know, man. If that Toothless Wonder Woman going to be there, then I'm going to stay right here.
That's maybe
You need some muscles.
Yeah, the Matt and Bats
I guess you
protection
probably
agency.
don't, but
Yeah, we can come down there.
we can pretend.
I need to get top flight security of the world, and I need to email my homie Martin Ford and get him down here. I need to call the 5% team and have them watch my back.
I mean, we could sit out in the car and have it running for you, so we can make a quick getaway.
That'd be nice. Because I literally hauled ass right after intermission. I didn't even get my pay. I told him to PayPal me the money, which he PayPal me the money a week later, which worked out. But I was hauled ass. I'm like, "Yo, Jake, let's get out of here." I was the only African American in that building, and my tag team partner was white. I had to get some serious heat for them to boo him too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't making it out either just because he was with you.
He was getting targeted just like me, except I was the prime, suspect, because I'm the one who got all the booze. And, "Oh, screw you, freaking," they called me the N-word 15 times, and I basically said, "This N-word makes more money in one match than you made in your whole year," and they didn't like that at all.
You're not supposed to.
So that was kind of fun, but it was kind of scary at the same time.
Yeah, I would definitely not want to be in that position.
And that was that was about an hour from Roanoke. That was a rough part to be.
That was, you said Benton, Virginia?
Yeah, Benton.
All right, public service announcement from the Gimmick Table. Do not wrestle in Benton, Virginia.
Yeah, don't go there unless you want to get, beat up and maybe shot, maybe.
If that's worth it to you.
That's some toothless possum wrangler.
Toothless Snaggletooth Wonder, man. I was going in. That was the best night of my life.
It's the best night of my life.
We hear all the time being a heel is the most fun you'll ever have.
It's fun. Like, I like pissing people off. They had a good day at work. Their beautiful or maybe not so beautiful wife cooked them a C- dinner. They come here and spend what little money they had to watch me wrestle, and I insult them. So it's a real fun time.
They're earning their hard-earned cash. They're not going to be able to afford that extra pound of beef that week, and you're going to ruin the.
you act like beef is so bad because you're a vegan.
They earn
their extra pound of beef.
You spend that extra $20 to see me while your wife's at home on Backpage selling herself for a couple maybe $100.
And all they've been looking forward is to some wrestling.
Yeah.
And you ruined that night for them.
Man, but lo and behold, man, I didn't get to, when I first started, I didn't have a choice whether to be heel or face. I was a face because I was a baby face. I looked like a good guy. I looked like, someone everybody can relate to, which they probably can and probably can't, because not everybody has been through what I've had to deal with, but some kind of have. But I didn't really get to play heel until I basically told the promoter, hey, I'm doing this heel gimmick. Like, you're not going to tell me I'm going to be a face. I kind of got heat for it, but he worked with it at the end of the day, because I was supposed to go out and cut a promo as a baby face, and I went out there as a heel and said, screw you people, screw this promotion, screw the promoters, and screw everybody in the building. And then I got back, to the back, and the promoter and all the town was, like, glaring at me. I'm like, what? They're like, man, you're supposed to be a baby face, you're cutting you. I'm like, yeah, I just do what I want to do. And then about a week after that, he called me, like, you know what? I loved it. Do it again. I was like, okay.
Pinky's up.
So, pinky's up. Irvin Legend does what he wants to do, but like I said, that's only some promotions. Some promotions I have no chance and no choice but to do what I'm told. But if I'm feeling it, if I think it's going to work, and if I think it's getting over, I'm probably going to do it.
Right.
Hey man, when I'm a heel, I don't really have limits until they tell me to stop, and then I stop. But I pretty much, if I know it's going to piss them off, I'll say it.
I feel like that's the way you
gotta go. A lot of people are afraid to do. They're afraid to take a risk. Like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? They're going to get yelled at.
Well, or you could have a lady waiting for you in the parking lot with a gun.
Yeah, but like I told her, by the time she gets her little, double amputee looking ass, gets the gun, I'm gonna be out of there, and I was out of there. So, she wastes her own time waiting for me. I went out the back door. I hauled ass. I was out there. I was like, see you later. You can keep waiting.
She pulls out like a flintlock pistol anyway.
Yeah, a little rusty ass pistol. Probably won't do nothing. Say, lady, I've been shot before. I know the deal.
She'd probably shoot herself.
No, I'm sure they're pretty skilled. Loaded. I would think, if anything, they probably know how to use guns.
Okay, yeah, let's give them credit for that. They could shoot me pretty easily.
They can hit a squirrel from 50 yards away.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, pretty much.
If they couldn't use a gun.
I know once I pulled up to that town and I saw all them, flags and trailers, and I was like, damn, I hit the wrong part of town. I don't know if I'm in the right place here. I go crazy. I was like, man, Jake, you sure you ain't put this in GPS wrong? He's like, no, we're here. I'm like, oh, shit. Well, let's get this over with.
Say a couple prayers,
Just start seeing more and more Confederate flags hanging from their porches, like,
Man, that was bad, man, but I made it out alive, thank the Lord.
It's like you time traveled to the 1800s and made it out.
Yeah, really.
Well, we're glad you did so.
Outside,
we could have this, what is turned into quite a hilarious and fun interview.
Man, y'all should have been there, man. That was a good time. I almost lost my life.
It doesn't sound like a very good time, man. Well, I mean, maybe you have.
It sounds entertaining as hell.
You have a different idea of fun than I, apparently. I like to play it a little closer to the cuff, safe.
Oh yeah,
I live for the moment, man. So I was panicking for a little bit, and then I hit up Sheets and Chipotle. So I wasn't really tripping. We had to haul ass for about a half an hour to get out of that place, and then we were good. But I was laughing from the venue all the way home, because like, man, we almost died for $20. I almost lost my life for $20. That's funny. Like, I was trying to make a light of the situation, but Jake was scared shitless, almost pissed him. So I'm like, dude, come on.
They following us,
these idiots, nincompoops, finally get the gun out. We're gonna be gone.
Keep looking in the rear view.
Look at the people wrestling for me. You really think they know how to load a gun?
Well, look, they've had to know how to load a gun, because I feel like a gun is the only way that they've survived as long as they have.
Man, I was like, oh my god. I was like, y'all's breath smell like straight, like, deer shit. Like, have you ever watched the Mountain Man movies where, like, the deer has, like, shit trails and the dude takes his finger and sniffs it and licks it and says, oh, that's fresh tracking. Have y'all ever seen that?
Nope, I am glad to say that I have never had the fortune of watching that.
I'm like, y'all's breath smell like y'all would try looking for deer tracks. Y'all fucking put your finger in a piece of doo-doo and licked it and said it's a hunting thing, man. I've never been, but I know people that have done that, and they determine whether, like, when the deer died or where it's going to. I don't understand why you got to taste shit to see that, but I guess it's like
their tongue is a science lab.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. Maybe they like eating shit, but I just kind of threw that in there too. But it was memorable. It was infamous for the wrong reasons, and that was last year, and I haven't been back since. So I had that concussion in April, and my career kind of took like a bad turn as far as me not getting booked. Even though I got clearance, they were kind of, iffy about booking me for some reason because the video went viral. Like, it ended up being retweeted by Chris Jericho, and it said this is how not to work, but it wasn't directed at me. So when I first saw it, I was like, well, shit, now Chris Jericho thinks I'm a shitty worker, but it was actually talking about how I was getting treated in the ring. He was basically, the dude was taking liberties with me, he kicked me in the head, I was unprotected, and I had a concussion. I was out for like 3 months.
Well, that's unfortunate. A lot of the guys we talked to, and we kind of touched base on it earlier with the females. Safety first. I mean, if you're out there trying to hurt somebody, you shouldn't be in the ring in the first place.
Yeah, like you said, no matter what personal demons they're going through or how bad work was or something, or if you're having family, we all have families, we all have jobs, and if you take away our ability to put food on the table for our family, that's a problem. As a wrestler, as a worker, you should know how to control your temper. Like, there's been times where I've seen this, girls or guys, or they're in the ring, standing in the ring together, and they just beat the shit out of each other, like legit. It's like, what's the point of that?
Like, I mean,
you're tough. You don't gotta, try to kill somebody.
Yeah, your job is to do these moves and put on a good show, but it's also to do them safely.
Yeah, it's like, if you're in this business to hurt somebody, you shouldn't be in there. You're in there for the wrong reasons, and you should get the fuck out, because I wouldn't trust you being in the ring with me knowing you're trying to hurt me.
Right.
I would never intentionally try and hurt somebody, and if I do hurt you, I apologize right after.
Right.
Because I'm not in this business to hurt somebody.
Right. Accidents are definitely going to happen, and I think the one thing we've learned in the time that we've been doing this show is that the one thing going into that match for most people is trust is number one. You got to be able to trust the person across from you. I mean, obviously, you don't want to put too much trust in them. You want to have most control, but at the same time, you got to trust them, because if you don't, things are not going to go right.
Yeah, you really have to have faith that you're both looking out for each other.
Yeah, I've never hurt anybody the whole time I've been in the ring. I mean, I've gotten hurt, but it was by accident. But I've never hurt anybody ever, because I know my strength and I know what to do and what not to do.
It's part of your professionalism,
Yeah, and if I do, I can work stiff, but it's only if I don't like you, or if you stiff me, I'll stiff you. But I work snug. I hit you to make it. I mean, it hurts a little bit, but I'm not trying to knock your teeth out. So like I said, I know my strength and I know my weaknesses, and I know how to work snug enough to where I don't hurt you. Like when me and Roddy Mack were throwing fists legit, he knocked the shit out of me, and I hit him as hard as I could, and it's like it didn't hurt him. So I ended up getting my ass kicked, which is kind of hard for me to admit, but it's the truth.
Well, yeah, and everybody's different. I mean, some people could take way harder hits than other people.
But the fight was like not in the ring though. It was in the locker room.
Oh.
So like we were actually throwing hands, and the dude knocked the shit out of me with one hit, and I was like, God damn, I didn't know he hit that hard.
Not gonna do that again.
My damn ears were ringing for like 2 days. I'm like, I ain't doing that shit again. I texted him. I was like, hey man, you got me pretty good. Like, oh, did I? I was like, yeah. I said, by the way, man, we gotta get this match made, like for real, because I didn't take the hit to the face for no reason.
Right.
And so I'm trying to work them, but we're both so busy, it's kind of hard to make the match. But not a lot of rookies, I'm still a rookie, but not a lot of rookies can say they actually threw hands with Roddy Mack, because Roddy Mack has the reputation of being a legitimate tough guy. So he's definitely tough. I know my jaw was fucking hurt for like 2 days after.
Must have been hard to eat those 8 meals.
Yeah, it's on YouTube still up there.
Well, I know what we're doing after this show. And we've covered a lot of ground today. What keeps you going, grinding, and giving it all, especially when things aren't always looking up for you?
Just to know one day my hard work is going to be appreciated and it's going to pay off. A couple weeks ago, I was going to give up and just stop wrestling, and then I was like, hey, well, I'm letting these people win. I'm letting my demons win because I've worked so hard to get to this point. Why would I throw it all away? So, I'm not getting booked still, but like I said, I'm going to ride out this last month, and hopefully next year I'll be back on track. I mean, I got AIWF booking on the 21st of January, which is booking number 1 of the year, but I'm trying to get 2 or 3 bookings a month at least. But I was ready to give up, and the only thing motivating me was, I lost a good friend, a good bodybuilding friend this summer, Rich Piana. Me and him were good friends, and the one thing he always motivated me to stay on my grind and think positively. Even if I didn't want to, he always said, do whatever it takes, do what you got to do to succeed. So that's the mentality I'm trying to keep every day. Even when shit doesn't go my way, I'm still like, all right, well, what can I do differently to make sure this day, turns out good?
I mean, I know it's cliche, but you definitely know how to make lemonade out of lemons.
Yeah, whole lot of lemonade. A lot of people think Rich was just some, juice head, but he was way, he was way more than that. The dude always had something positive to say. Even though his arm was bigger than my whole body, he was still a good person, and it kind of sucked that he passed.
Yeah, man, sorry to hear that. But it's good. At least you took away something positive. Not so much, but you used it to kind of, you were down on yourself about the wrestling, and you kind of were thinking about giving up, and something happened, and you were able to use that bad experience, losing your friend, and turn it into something positive in your own life by not giving up, putting back in the motivation, and getting yourself focused on what you've loved since, you were a kid.
Yeah, that's, the main person I'm doing this for is not only for myself, it's for my mother too, because I did make her promise that I might not be, doughy material, but I want to try and take this journey as far as I'm able to. Now, if that's just, independence, then fine, but I want to keep doing this till I can't do it no more, at least physically. A lot of these guys, a lot of these wrestlers, get depressed. You see the statistics. A lot of these guys die before they're 50, and that's not just from drug abuse, that's from depression and suicides. This business eats you alive, not just mentally, but physically. Why do you think they got to take painkillers? Because this hurts. So when people say what I do is fake, it's like if you had any idea what it's like to be a professional wrestler, you would definitely not say that.
Suspended reality. We preach it all the time. It's like you go into a movie, It's how, when somebody who tells me it's fake, that's how I try to look at it with them. When you go to a movie, we've talked about it before, like Transformers, for instance, you understand that, like with wrestling, the outcome may be, predetermined, but what you guys are doing in the ring is very real. And just because the outcome's predetermined doesn't take away from anything that you guys are actually doing. Like when you go to a movie, that's not a real Autobot you're seeing, that's not a real Decepticon, but you suspend reality for a moment and embrace everything about it. So there is a sense of realism to it.
Yeah, it's very physically demanding. Like being on the road 365 days a year with little or no sleep, traveling from country to country, state to state. It's very, very exhausting. You still jet lag from the flight before, and you got to go out there and put on another match. Yeah, I think doing this for 10 years, what this does to your body, all these bumps, falling from high heights, getting stretched out, your body, I've already accepted, by the time I'm 30 or 40, my spine's going to be crooked, or at least, not normal. This is what you got to deal with when you're a wrestler or athlete, for this matter. Like, I got heat for ripping on football players, NFL football players. I had to delete the tweet because I remember Antonio Brown of the Steelers, he tweeted back to me and called me a bitch, but I basically said what takes the NFL player out for a game we wrestle with, which is the truth, man. They break their little finger or foot, and we're wrestling with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a valid point.
But to be fair, like back before they were getting paid millions and millions of dollars, they did play through that because they were doing it for the love of the game. They weren't, making...
Right.
They didn't have $1 million contracts on the line.
Right, there was a time when football was... they played injured, but now there's so many things that can happen to the team if they don't disclose that they're injured, or if the team knows that they're injured because of obviously everything with concussions and things like that. Yeah, football ain't the game that it once was, but it's probably a good thing that it's not the game that it once was.
But also, if you look at that, like even like professional wrestlers, like in the WWE and everything, like if they get hurt, they're not really gonna go play through that because they have a pretty big contract on the line.
They do. They will.
I mean,
but
to an extent.
Nowadays, slip them banana peel and they tear ACL.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we put on a match with that. I wasn't calling NFL players pussies, but I would say, before you guys go ripping on our sport, you should look at what we have to put up with. I in no way, shape, or form said you guys are, wimps, but the way that Antonio Brown kind of, got on my ass, I didn't really like it. But I kind of tweeted something smart back, and, he kind of blocked me, so kind of got into that a little bit.
Well, that's funny. You got blocked by Antonio Brown. I got blocked by another Pittsburgh Steeler.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Do they still not have cheerleaders?
I don't know. I mean, why
they're not allowed to.
They're the only team I know that don't have no cheerleaders. Ain't no pretty girls up in Pittsburgh. It's not I seen.
Well, we've never been to Pittsburgh, so we're not here at the Gimmick Table. We're not going to.
That's what my tweet said. Like, y'all the only team with no damn cheerleaders.
Yeah, they do. It's Big Ben.
I think that's because of Big Ben.
Big Ben, Big Ben cheeseburger, hamburger,
Yeah, Big Ben something.
Whataburger.
Like, we're just not going to let anything spiral out of control. We're going to not have cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all, I mean, all them toothless bears that they want to have cheerleaders. Man, Pittsburgh don't have no cheerleaders. So for Antonio Brown to get on my case because I'm speaking the truth pissed me off. But it was after the cheerleader comment he blocked me. And he knows what's up. He knows the truth, which is why he couldn't take it.
Well, hopefully he listens to our podcast. And
Maybe I'll tweet him out when this one comes out. Hey, Antonio, there's some special interest in this.
Got your name dropped in
Yeah,
there.
about minute 15,
And
hour 15
yeah,
of the
if
show.
you got a problem with me, I hope I don't get sued by Daniel Bergoli. But if Antonio got a problem with what I'm saying, cast me outside.
Oh, God. All right, so let's get back to the show. Wrestling, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What are the goals? Where do you want to be?
Anybody that says, anybody that doesn't say the long-term goal is WWE is kind of like, I mean, it might not be, but for me, obviously, it's going to WWE or maybe getting a look at Ring of Honor. I won't say Impact Wrestling because I don't even know if it's coming around in 5 years, but I would have to say WWE simply because I do have a couple friends there, and all my, all the people that motivated me came from that company, even though I was WF at the time. So if I was able to make my mark on the same company they were, that would kind of mean a lot. Because I want to see, can I leave a lasting impression? When I'm done wrestling, what will people, think about me, not only as a person, but as an athlete?
And who are some of your dream matches?
Currently, like alive or dead, or just in general?
Anything you want to,
I think me and Brett, not Brett. Well, me and Dean Malenko, I think that would have been cool. Or, of course, Guerrero or Benoit. But if I would have worked Benoit, my chest would have caved in with them damn chops.
Oh, yeah.
That dude's chops was insane. So anybody that says Benoit don't hit hard is lying their asses off. He chopped the crap out of Triple H. Triple H's chest turned purple in like 5 minutes.
There's a reason he was the Rabid Wolverine.
Yeah, that dude was crazy, man. Rematch currently, I think I like to work Seth Rollins or Shelton Benjamin. I think that'd be cool. AJ Styles too, maybe Jinder Mahal. I don't know, I might slip off of Jinder Mahal. I didn't build what he puts on himself. So maybe AJ Styles. I think AJ Styles is in high demand, man. Every time someone mentions Dream Match, his name pops up.
Yeah, I think he's one of the best in the world.
So I have a couple people I like to work, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Randy Orton would be another one because Randy Orton was a big influence when he was doing Legend Killer and when he was the Viper. He was doing those two different gimmicks. I preferred the Viper over the Legend Killer simply because I feel like his psychology was way more calculated at that time. And he just had a better look. He was, no hair, looked like a demon. You never knew where he was coming from. He'd try to basically try and kill you. So I think Randy Orton for sure.
Although Legend Killer versus Irvin Legend, there's the appeal there as well.
That's built-in writing right there.
Yeah, the Legend versus Legend Killer. It don't matter how many RKOs I take, man. Irvin Legend will never be killed. Obviously, someone tried to kill me in real life and didn't get the job done. So I don't think Randy Orton could.
Legends never die, man.
Never. So basically, Legend Killer is contradicting himself because he ain't killing me.
It's an oxymoron.
Yeah, which is really what I think would make the match good, but I'd have to get to that place first before it could even happen.
Now, outside of some of the people... go ahead.
Kevin Owens, too. I like to work Kevin Owens.
Yeah, Kevin Owens is hands down to me the best in the WWE right now. There's no...
I'm not really a big fan of Sami Zayn, though. I don't really like him that much.
I love Sami Zayn.
I can't stand him.
To each their own, though.
He has heart, but that's about it.
That's one thing we've kind of talked about this episode. You and I have had some different opinions, but hey, we recognize that it doesn't matter. We both enjoy something a little different, and we can still have a conversation and have a good time.
I'll give him a chance now that he's doing heel. I want to see how much of a heel he can be. Like, not the goofy ass, thing he was before, but I want to see if they can turn him into like a serious worker. And if he can do that, then he has me sold. Because I've always been a heel guy. I can do baby faces, but I've always been, cheering for the heels because I'm kind of a heel myself. So if he can convince me, I'll be sold. But right now, man, I'd rather go watch like porn or something instead of watching him.
You watch porn, but you don't want to be the star.
Pretty much. Porn ain't for me, man. Porn's just like the wrestling business, technically, with money, and people think porn's an easy job, but it's probably not. You see all the poor stars that are dying because it's, they get depressed for some reason. I don't know why, but, there's no privacy. Your shit's all over the internet. You got people hassling you, so really it's just another branch of the entertainment business.
I feel like it's harder it's harder on the women than the men, because I feel like I'd just be really happy all the time. Well, that's why none of us are important. Well, that's not why Bats is not important, but we won't get into that. That's a different show for a different day.
It has to be hard. I mean, no pun intended, but it has to be tough.
Not for Bats.
What?
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know where you're going with this. I could be important if people wanted to see me naked, but nobody really does.
Not even
but
your
demanding every day, or these girls getting
keep your shirt on.
Savagely, getting the business 8 dudes. That has to be fucking painful, man.
I mean,
I guarantee you they don't even like it. They're just on camera acting like they like it, and then the camera's off, they're crying in the corner somewhere.
It's acting.
I guarantee you that's how it is.
So, idea here, we're going to stop the Gimmick Table. We're going to start a show where we interview porn stars instead. And
That's not happening.
Hey,
create
I
a
mean, it might
platform
get
for
y'all
them.
hella views, man, if y'all do that. You never know.
Sorry, all wrestling fans.
There was a porn star that just died, I think, a couple days ago.
Yeah,
I forgot her name.
it.
I think it was like August something, but she was like depressed about something. Probably had something to do about money.
Well, that sucks. Nobody should die or kill them.
Yeah,
That sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. That bums me out.
I mean, it is what I mean. That's gonna sound fucked up, but she's a human being too, man. So no matter what you do, whether you're a porn star, a wrestler, or an actor, you know, we all entertain people differently. We tell people stories with their bodies, and you know, it's a very rough sport. And I just wish people that were the ignorant ass people out there that would say, "Oh, what you do with the weight." I wish they would, you know, be in the ring for a week or be in my shoes for a couple months and see what it feels like. You know, you got to work your normal job. You got to come home and do, you know, responsibilities as a father. I'm not a father. I don't have no kids, not that I know of. But you still got to wrestle, and it's tough, man. Now thinking about being in WWE for over 10 years. You got to be on the road constantly. You got a wife and kid. You got to play super dad. Then you got to go back on the road. You miss your kids' birthdays. You miss the funerals. You miss the graduation.
Yeah, it takes a lot away from your life. You know, you're sacrificing a lot just to provide for them.
Yeah, I have all the respect in the world for the people up there. And that goes for any athlete in general, because basically they just do the same stuff we do. They travel, they perform, and don't see their family a lot.
Yeah, it's like any professional athlete. Like, you're on the road for the majority of the year.
Yeah, so it's, you know, it's really not easy. Not everybody's meant to do this.
Now, how can our listeners get a hold of you, Irvin?
You can hit me up on Facebook, of course, at Irvin Legend. Hit me up on Twitter at Irvin Legend 757. Instagram, you know, official Irvin Legend. And I have a Snapchat, but I ain't really on it. But official Irvin Legend for that as well.
All right, so guys, make sure you follow him on all those platforms. We hope, I know you said that you don't have any bookings. We hope that you do get some soon. Make sure you let us know about those. But before we let you go today, we're going to unhinge the Gimmick Table with a little game, and this kind of just came up based on our conversation today.
You always call it a game.
It's a game.
There's no prize.
A game doesn't have to have a prize. There's no prize in Monopoly.
There's a lot of pride involved in Monopoly.
Prize.
Pride is the prize. They're only a letter off, too, so I win.
You never win. All right, so
I won that game.
take it away.
Anyways.
With your game.
Tonight's gimmick on the unhinged version is going to be, well, I mean, we talked about the Pittsburgh Steelers because of Antonio Brown, so we're just going to, like, beat up all the Pittsburgh Steelers tonight. I got a few of their starting lineup. Why don't you give them a nice finishing move that you would do to them?
Yeah, tell us how you're going to take them out.
Take them out of the game. That's not condoned. So first off, we'll start with Ben Roethlisberger. What do you want to do that, Big Ben?
Pittsburgh Steelers, huh? I'll probably just give him like the code breaker. Break his nose.
All right. Or give him a big boot.
Yeah.
I see what you did there. How about the running back Le'Veon Bell?
I'll put him in the sharpshooter, break his back.
Do you think you can catch him, though?
He's quick.
Yeah, of course.
He's slow
He
down.
can
Get him behind the knees, he ain't going nowhere.
He can levitate. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Get him in the sharpshooter. He's not.
Yeah,
not
he's
going
done.
anywhere.
Them Cincinnati
You can,
Bengals will love you.
What's that thing called? Chop him back on the knee, he ain't going nowhere.
Oh yeah, take him right down.
Yeah.
Their tight end Jesse James.
James. Super kick.
Good night. That's a tough kick to make though on him.
Yeah, how tall is he?
Oh, yeah.
Their other wide receiver, little tiny Martavius Bryant.
Dude,
He can get the RKO.
they don't have Martavius Bryant anymore, did they trade him?
No, he was hurt.
Oh, they got rid of the other guy,
Yeah.
Wheaton.
RKO that would take him out for sure. Get his dreads all tangled up.
What?
I don't know. That's a thing.
Hey, don't forget about Mike Tomlin.
Oh, all right.
might
What would you like to do to Mike Tomlin? Yeah, because he's gonna trip you while you're running by.
I'll give him a power punch right to the kneecap.
Ooh.
He ain't gonna be tripping nobody.
Now, how about Juju? Because he took Burfict out the other night pretty hard.
I'll give him one of them good old school power drivers.
That's the kind of one.
And he also knows how to deal with Mia Khalifa on Twitter.
Yeah, I'll give him the Owen Hart apologizer because he did that. I don't like him.
You didn't hear about that? She
I heard. I was laughing. That's what she gets for being an asshole to everybody.
Everybody be sliding into her DMs on Twitter, right? And she basically commented on something of his, and he goes, "I'm not touching that."
Yeah, that's what she gets for being a freaking narcissistic freaking cumbag, man. Like, that's what she gets.
Man.
All right.
It had to happen there eventually.
You are everybody. You're going to have so many enemies in Hollywood and in the porn industry and in the NFL after this interview.
What my Khalif really needs to worry about is them damn eyebrows like two caterpillars sitting on the top of her head. That's what she needs to worry about more than anything else.
Some cum-guzzling caterpillars.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they probably keep growing, getting bushier.
Eventually they'll turn into butterflies.
All the nutrients.
Yeah, she got a hella thick eyebrow. I don't know what the hell that's coming from. It's kind of scary.
All right, so last but not least, how are you going to take Antonio Brown out?
And let's make this one special. Let's get me and Bats in there to help you kind of do, a three-man finisher.
Okay. Well, I'd probably be the final blow and do that springboard front flip power driver the Young Bucks used to do.
Okay. You tell us what you want us to do.
How you want us to set that up for you?
Give him the running knee and the freaking Nakamura's kick finishing move. I forgot what that thing's called.
Kinshasa?
Shinkata.
Yeah, whatever the hell it's called. And then the front flip power driver.
Yeah, good night.
Yeah, he'd be dead. He'd be in the hospital.
All right.
He'd be in the hospital.
We took you out, Antonio Brown. No.
Yeah, block me on Twitter now.
Yeah, no matter how nice and fancy your cleats look.
I never liked him anyways.
I'm a Giants fan.
Out of all the touchdown celebrations, he could have chosen he chose to twerk. You gotta be kidding me.
Well, it was popular at the time.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta
say
stay.
something about his day job.
Well, he's much better at football than the Dancing with the Stars.
Oh yeah. But he's just mad. My team kind of knocked him out last 2 years. They got us this year though.
And who's your team?
Ravens.
Baltimore.
I'm a 49ers fan.
So. I'm disowning everything that has to do with Baltimore this year until they get their act together.
But that does it here for us today. Thank you for joining us, and let us know when you do get your next booking so we can make sure we can help you promote that on the Facebook and those Twitter gimmicks for you.
Yeah, I'll definitely let you all know. I'll probably if I get something, I'll put it on my Facebook or two.
Yeah, tag us in it, and we'll make sure that we help get that out there for you.
Yeah, I will for sure.
And like I said earlier, thank you so much for joining us today. We had a fun time. This was a blast. Thank you for helping us destroy the Pittsburgh Steelers, and thank you for sharing your life with us, man. It was a very inspiring story that you had, and I hope anybody listening, just took away from that something valuable.
It was great talking to you. You are a freight train of motivation and determination.
I definitely appreciate that, man. Thank you.
You've been thinking of that all episode, haven't you? You've had that since like midway through the episode.
Don't break the fourth wall.
All right, well, we hope you have a good night and stay safe out there, man. And best of luck.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right.
All right, everybody, that does it for us here today at the Gimmick Table. And as always, thank you again for listening. And thank you to our guest, Irvin Legend, for what was an extraordinarily awesome interview. An awe-inspiring story, really, everything that he has had to go through in his life. And I think we said it before, and I'm going to be a broken record here, but really, anybody listening, you can take away a little bit of motivation from that, and that can go a long way.
Yeah, it just shows you what determination can get you,
and realizing, especially having, like he said with his mom, having the ability to understand that he's not just doing it for himself, but that goes a long way when you're not just doing it for yourself and there's somebody else driving. All right, everybody, you heard it earlier in the episode how you can get another entry in to win an autographed 8x10 photograph of Cody Rhodes. Make sure you get over to gimmicktablepod.com, enter the keyword. If you haven't listened to last week's episode, you can still use last week's keyword. Get yourself 2 entries. Get 2 entries for being our Patreon. Get another entry for joining our mailing list. And if you send us your Apple ID through the entry form as well, so we can verify your review of the Gimmick Table podcast on iTunes, you'll get another entry as well. And speaking of that, make sure you subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or iHeartRadio, and we're also on YouTube. We have t-shirts also available at gimmicktablepod.com as well, and you can interact with us on social media. We are on the Twitter gimmick at @gimmick_table. Find us on Facebook and Instagram as well by searching the Gimmick Table Wrestling Podcast. And Bats, did you know we have friends?
I didn't know you had any other friends except for me.
I wouldn't even call you my friend, but hey, it's okay. But we have some friends out there who do some really spectacular podcasts themselves. Despite what we normally say, they are good people.
Oh, the friends with the air quotation.
No air quotations today, sir.
Okay.
All right. But they are first, but not foremost. Don't think just because we say your name first that you're our favorites for some reason, because honestly, I'm just too fucking lazy to just switch it up. So first we have the Wrestling Nerds Alliance. You can find them on Twitter at WNA Podcast, Facebook as well, just by searching Wrestling Nerds Alliance. Their show can be downloaded and listened to on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and Podbean.
Next up, we got Wretched Wrestling. I'll refer to these guys as the princes of Periscope.
Princesses.
The princesses. Princessy? The tiny little princesses of Periscope. Anyway, you can catch Wretched Wrestling, obviously on Periscope, but look them up on Twitter at Wretched Wrestle, on Facebook at Wretched Wrestling, and you can also catch them on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, and Podbean.
And guys, then we have, well, clearly if the Wretched Wrestling is the princes, we have their parents, which are the kings of the Periscope, and that is S Marks the Spot.
All hail S Marks the Spot.
Apparently we've gone English. They can be found on Twitter at S Marks Spot, Facebook as well, just by searching S Marks the Spot, and you can download and listen to them on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and Podbean.
Lest us not forget,
Roy'smore. It's terrible. Continue.
I don't know, I was going for like a Viking theme.
Oh yeah, you're a fucking Viking now. Congratulations.
By the power of Thor, you can find Roy'smore. Oh, that was good. On Twitter
Oh yeah, it was fucking great.
and Facebook at Roy'smore.
There's a fucking kid over here.
And check them out on iTunes, Stitcher.
Fucking bullshit coming out of
Can't talk over the plugs. iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and Podbean.
What, you got a problem with that? You got a problem with
No, why don't you take us down under?
that? I'm gonna take us down under. Alright guys, last but not least, we have what used to be known as the Broadcast Podcast. We are now also the Broadcast Podcast because of a fucking little thing called eminent domain. We own your podcast, we own you.
Like Chaos Magic us into owning the broadcast.
And we actually own the people too in the show. Like they're gonna come here, they're gonna be our butlers.
The Gimmick Table does not advocate owning people.
Oh yeah, no, we don't not like that, but
Anyways, the broadcast with a K.
yeah, they can be found on Twitter at the Broadcast, and that's with a K because there is no C in.
Also all one word. Oh, I guess that's...
Well, way to interrupt me, but there is no C in the Australian alphabet. And our good friend Daryl, see, must be clicking. The chaos magic must be working, dude, because now even Daryl knows that there's no C in the Australian alphabet. It's catching on, man. The truth is out there. Alex motherfucking Jones. Make sure you listen to their show, guys, on iTunes as well.
Yeah, listen to the broadcast, not Alex Jones's show.
Yeah, fuck Alex Jones. Alex Jones fucking sucks. We're calling everybody.
Turn the fucks,
we called out the Steelers. We called out Mia Khalifa. We've now called out Alex Jones. We're making some rivalries, some new
There's
feuds.
some shade tonight.
There's some new feuds for the Gimmick Table coming in 2018, and we're prepared. We hope you join us on that journey of fun. So until next time, guys, have a good day.
See ya.